Mobile is such an important subject for agencies because our job is to create content and experiences and tools that bring brands and people closer. If people are on mobile, then obviously agencies need to be working out how to use mobile too.
Mobile is hugely important to agencies because it's fast becoming everyone's most used form of media. But crucially, not a lot of people know how it's being used, where it's being used, and why it's being used. So we need to understand more about it so we can develop the best comms possible.
I think mobile is a really important subject for agencies because to be mobile is an absolute inherent part of what it means to be digital and to be on the cutting edge of digital.
Agencies are starting to do more and more when it comes to design, so websites, making sure they're all responsibly designed. We're seeing that across the board now. What isn't being done, perhaps in line with that, is having the right user experience, the right architecture behind those sites, as we see in some websites have the right call to actions in the right places. When it comes to brand campaigns, agencies are definitely thinking more socially, but perhaps not integrating mobile as close as they could do with their brand and comms campaigns.
Everyone was late to the mobile party, and I think even somebody like Facebook struggled to cope with mobile coming along so quickly. They didn't really work out that they were a mobile organisation until November last year. So agencies too were a little bit late. Having said that, they're getting there now. I think one of the challenges for them though is that they've got to remember that mobile is not a silo. We can't create another digital silo like we did 5 years ago. Mobile is just another part of our palette.
We now know that there are more smartphones and tablets being sold on a daily basis than there are laptops, computers or any other type of device. Businesses such as Facebook are increasingly describing themselves as mobile first companies, and we know that upwards of 70% of all of the traffic going to those sites is through mobile.
The people who I think are the best example of using mobile are publications like The Guardian. The one that I have seen mentioned so many times is the Boston Globe, when you very quickly can see how they used an app, responsive design and desktop to create a really great experience.
With the Barclays Bike Scheme in London, it's possible to use your mobile to track where the free bikes are, where the stands are, and also to track and plan your route. And I think again that's a really good example of a company that's using the application intelligently.
Retailers are taking the lead here as they have with digital as a whole. So if you look at Argos and Tesco and M&S, they've made mobile integrated into their business now because they know it helps drive incremental sales. So retailers, as ever, are leading the way because they understand its importance in business.
The IPA have been great in helping agencies navigate mobile because they've got involved early on in understanding that was an issue that needs to be tackled. They did an event last year, an event this year as well, really helping agencies to go on that journey.
The IPA started Mobile Inspiration Day last year, which was great. Loads of people attended it. It was really good to get people involved in the businesses that are making strides in mobile and teaching agencies what they're doing, getting the stats, the insights behind their businesses. And that was really good. We followed that up this year with another session where we got people from different agencies, got Contagious in, and looked at both how people are doing best practice now across a variety of sectors, but also what's that hold in the future. Mobile isn't just a device, it's not just a media placement. It's a whole way that people need to design and think about campaigns, particularly when they're producing content.
The IPA operating a means and a mechanism for agencies to be able to ask questions in an open forum, to be able to send their staff on training days, to be able to engage in a way that feels safe and that feels sort of people aren't afraid to ask a question. I think that's important.
Brilliant.
The Mobile Inspiration event, we wanted to achieve two things. We wanted to give a real broad context as to why mobile was important and what were the big facts you needed to know about, and then provide deep dives that are really relevant to specific industry sectors such as FMCG or finance, so that people really had the tools to go out and do.
Thinking behind the Mobile Inspiration event was how do we get people to fully engage with the problems that mobile offers. It's not simply about just learning case studies, that they're important, but it's thinking about where we're going in the future and what that might mean for brands. We started by thinking about how do we teach people about consumer behaviours and how they're actually using mobile, and then get people to think about what that means for their campaigns, rather than simply seeing it as another media placement.
One of the things I'm really excited about is the Touchpoints passive mobile data collection. This, I think, will actually help us understand how people really use their mobile, rather than telling us about it. With something bigger, you can probably recreate something by someone talking about it. People use mobiles all the time, so we need to actually have a little secret engine that's telling us what they do.
I think this is huge. I think the mobile data that are collecting as part of Touchpoints is going to give real insight for agencies. We don't know enough about how people are using their phones. We know they're doing it frequently, we know they're using it a lot for social, but how are they doing it? What tasks are they doing? What unstated activities are going on? The more we get an idea of these things, the greater I think the potential to do real groundbreaking creative work and not just sitting and being content with doing great retail websites. We need to think about how we can do great creative work as well.
For me, the next stage for the IPA is to really build on the touchpoints data, and the next event should probably be all about that. I think it's going to really demystify how people use mobiles and get rid of all the myths that are everywhere.
So I'd like to see us move from mobile being a silo, standalone consideration to something that the IPA in all its various committees and guises considers every term.